Hello my friends, I am Sally. Enjoy today's story and don't forget to press the like button and follow the channel so that you receive notifications of the latest stories. Thank you my friends. I love you all.
Under a soft canopy of stars, in a cozy bedroom painted in pastel hues, two best friends, Emma and Sophie, sat cross-legged on a bed covered with fluffy blankets and pillows. The glow of a small bedside lamp bathed the room in a warm light, creating the perfect atmosphere for their nightly tradition, sharing bedtime stories. Emma, the older of the two, with her auburn hair tied in a loose braid, always began the ritual. She had a knack for weaving tales that sparkled with magic and adventure. Sophie, her younger friend, with curly blonde hair and wide, curious eyes, was an eager listener who often chimed in with her own twists to the stories. "Tonight," Emma began, her voice soft and melodic, "I'll tell you about the Moonlight Kingdom." Sophie gasped, pulling the blankets closer around her. "Is it a magical place?" "The most magical," Emma replied, her eyes twinkling. "The Moonlight Kingdom lies high above the clouds, where the moonlight paints everything in silvery hues. The people there have wings made of stardust, and they gather light from the stars to weave into their clothes." Sophie clapped her hands. "Do they have a queen?" "Oh yes," Emma said, leaning in conspiratorially. "Queen Celeste, the wisest and kindest ruler, watches over the kingdom. But one night, a mischievous comet named Blaze decided to play a trick. He stole the moon's glow and hid it deep in the enchanted forest." Sophie gasped dramatically. "What happened next?" Emma smiled, enjoying her friend's enthusiasm. "The bravest young girl in the kingdom, Lyra, set off on a quest to retrieve the moon's glow. She ventured into the forest, solving riddles posed by talking trees and outsmarting shadowy creatures. In the end, she found Blaze and convinced him to return the moon's glow by promising to teach him how to dance among the stars." Sophie grinned. "I bet she taught him some amazing moves." "Oh, she did," Emma said, laughing. "Blaze became the best dancer in the sky, and the Moonlight Kingdom shone brighter than ever." When Emma finished, Sophie's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Now it's my turn," she declared. She adjusted her pillow and cleared her throat dramatically. "Once upon a time, there was a tiny dragon named Pippin who was afraid of flying." Emma leaned in, intrigued. "Why was he afraid?" "Because he thought the clouds would tickle him too much," Sophie said with a giggle. "But one day he met a butterfly who told him that clouds weren't ticklish, they were soft and cozy, like giant pillows. So, Pippin took a deep breath, flapped his wings, and flew for the first time. And guess what?" "What?" Emma asked, her smile wide. "He discovered that flying was the most fun thing ever. He even made a home on a big fluffy cloud and invited all the butterflies to visit." Both girls burst into laughter, imagining a tiny dragon hosting butterfly tea parties on a cloud. Flicker was a small sprite who lived in the Whispering Woods. Her days began with the first rays of sunlight filtering through the leaves. She would wake in her nest, made of soft moss and dandelion fluff. Each morning, Flicker flew to the crystal pond, where she drank the sweet water. The pond was her favorite place, reflecting the sky like a mirror. She spent her mornings collecting dewdrops from spiderwebs. These drops were her breakfast, tasting like tiny bursts of sunshine. After breakfast, Flicker would visit the other creatures in the woods. She would chat with the wise old owl and play hide and seek with the nimble squirrels. One day, she found a lost baby bird that had fallen from its nest. Flicker carefully carried the little bird back to its home. The bird's mother was so grateful. She sang a beautiful song for Flicker. Flicker felt a warm glow in her chest, happier than ever. As the sun began to set, she flew back to her nest. The sky was painted with colors of orange and pink. She watched the fireflies begin to twinkle, like tiny stars on Earth. Before sleep, she would listen to the forest's soft symphony, the crickets chirping and the wind rustling. Her days were full of small wonders, simple joys, and gentle acts of kindness. They were always magical, just like her.
In a quiet little village nestled between rolling hills, there lived a boy named Leo. Leo had a heart full of dreams and a head bursting with ideas. He loved to draw and paint, but his family was too poor to afford proper art supplies. Instead, Leo used sticks to draw in the dirt or charcoal from the fire to sketch on scraps of paper. Despite the limitations, his talent shone brightly, and the villagers often marveled at his creations. One crisp autumn morning, as Leo wandered through the forest collecting twigs for his sketches, he stumbled upon something extraordinary. Lying beneath the golden leaves was a paintbrush unlike any he had ever seen. Its handle was carved from smooth, dark wood, and its bristles shimmered as though made of sunlight. As Leo picked it up, a warm, tingling sensation ran through his fingers. Curious, Leo brought the paintbrush back to his small home. He dipped it into a bowl of water, the only paint he had, and began to draw on an old piece of fabric. To his amazement, as the brush touched the surface, vibrant colors appeared as if by magic. The water transformed into brilliant blues, radiant reds, and glowing golds. Leo's eyes widened in wonder. Over the next few days, Leo experimented with his newfound treasure. Whatever he painted seemed to come alive. A bird he painted on his window flew away with a cheerful chirp. A loaf of bread he painted on the table became real, filling his home with the delicious smell of fresh baking. Word of Leo's magical paintbrush quickly spread, and villagers came from far and wide to see his creations. One day, the mayor of the village visited Leo with a request. "Leo," he said, "our fields have been barren this year, and the harvest is scarce. Could you paint us some crops to feed the village?" Leo nodded eagerly. With careful strokes, he painted golden fields of wheat, lush green vegetables, and rows of fruit trees. To everyone's astonishment, the paintings sprang to life, and the villagers cheered as the fields became abundant once more. "Thank you, Leo," the mayor said. "You have saved us from hunger." As time went on, Leo used his paintbrush to help the village in countless ways. He painted a new bridge over the river, cozy homes for those in need, and even a schoolhouse where children could learn. But not everyone was impressed by Leo's generosity. A wealthy merchant in a neighboring town heard of the magical paintbrush and became envious. He hatched a plan to steal it for himself. One night, the merchant crept into Leo's home and snatched the paintbrush while the boy slept. Laughing to himself, the merchant returned to his mansion and began painting gold coins, jewels, and treasures. Hearing of the merchant's trouble, "I'll take back the paintbrush," he said, "but only if you promise to use your wealth to help others." Humbled and frightened, the merchant agreed. With the paintbrush returned, Leo continued to use its magic to bring joy and prosperity to his village.
Lila loved the night sky. Every evening, she would sit by her window, gazing at the stars. One night, a shimmering light caught her eye. It was a tiny fairy with wings that sparkled like a rainbow. The Rainbow Fairy, as she was known, smiled at Lila and beckoned her closer. With a gentle wave of her hand, the fairy lifted Lila into the sky. They soared past the moon and the planets, each twinkling with a magical glow. The Rainbow Fairy pointed out the constellations, telling Lila their names and stories. Orion, the hunter, shone brightly, while the little bear seemed to dance in the sky. Lila was amazed by the beauty and mystery of it all. The fairy explained that each star held a secret, a tiny piece of the universe, waiting to be discovered. She showed Lila how the stars form patterns, each telling a story of ancient times. Lila listened intently, her eyes wide with wonder. The fairy's wings shimmered, casting a rainbow of light across the night. Lila learned about the scientific importance of stars and how they impact our lives. She was fascinated by the tales of old, mixed with the science of the cosmos. The fairy revealed the hidden secrets of the constellations, their history, and myths. Lila felt a deep connection to the universe, a sense of belonging in the vastness of space. The Rainbow Fairy showed Lila how her wings, filled with stardust, illuminated the night sky, making it even more magical. Lila realized that the sparkle and wonder she felt were reflections of the magic of the night sky. As the first light of dawn appeared, the fairy gently lowered Lila back to her window. Lila thanked the Rainbow Fairy for the magical journey. The fairy smiled and whispered, "The beauty of the night sky is always within you." Lila watched as the Rainbow Fairy flew away, her wings sparkling like the stars themselves. Lila knew that the magic of the night sky and the wonder she felt would stay with her forever. She looked forward to every night, eager to learn more about the stars and their stories.
Lila, the little boat, who could sing. In a quiet harbor nestled between rolling green hills and a sparkling blue sea, there was a fleet of fishing boats, each with its own unique charm. Among them was a small, unassuming boat named Lila. Lila wasn't the biggest or fastest boat in the harbor. In fact, she often went unnoticed among the larger, more impressive vessels. But Lila had a special gift: she could sing. Every evening, when the fishermen returned with their catches and the sun dipped below the horizon, Lila would hum soft melodies to herself. Her songs were light and sweet, like the gentle lapping of waves against the shore. But because she was shy, Lila only sang when she thought no one was listening. One evening, a young boy named Finn wandered down to the harbor. Finn loved the sea but felt out of place among the bustling fishermen and towering boats. He often came to the harbor to sit quietly and dream of adventures. That night, as the stars began to twinkle, Finn heard something magical. It was a soft, lilting tune that seemed to float on the breeze. He followed the sound and found himself standing by Lila. "Who's singing?" Finn asked, looking around. Lila froze, unsure if she should respond. But something about Finn's kind eyes made her feel safe. Summoning her courage, she replied, "It's me. I'm Lila, the little boat." Finn's eyes widened in amazement. "You can talk? And sing?" Lila nodded shyly. "I've always loved to sing, but no one's ever heard me before." "Your voice is beautiful," Finn said with a smile. "You should share it with everyone." Lila shook slightly, the way boats do when they're nervous. "What if they don't like it?" "They will," Finn assured her. "Your songs are too lovely to keep hidden." Encouraged by Finn's words, Lila decided to try. The next evening, as the fishermen returned and the harbor grew quiet, Lila began to sing. Her voice rose gently, carrying melodies inspired by the seethed rhythm of the waves, the whisper of the wind, and the calls of the seabirds. At first, the fishermen stopped in their tracks, puzzled by the unexpected sound. But soon, they began to smile. Lila's songs reminded them of their love for the sea and the simple joys of life. Children danced on the docks, and even the gruffest fishermen found themselves humming along. Word of the singing boat spread, and people from nearby villages came to the harbor to hear Lila's enchanting songs. The harbor, once a quiet and ordinary place, became a lively gathering spot filled with laughter and music. Lila blossomed with confidence, and her friendship with Finn grew stronger. Finn, inspired by Lila's bravery, found his own courage to share his dreams of becoming a sailor. Together, they made plans to explore the sea, carrying Lila's songs to distant shores. Lila's gift brought joy to everyone she met. The little boat who could sing became a beloved legend, her melodies forever a part of the harbor's heart and soul. In a small town nestled beside a sparkling river, lived a young girl named Lily. She was known for her gentle heart and the kindness she showed to everyone she met. One day, a new boy named Tom moved into town. He was shy and often kept to himself, feeling lost in a place so different from his old home. Lily noticed Tom sitting alone during recess and decided to approach him. "Hi, I'm Lily," she said with a warm smile. Tom looked up, surprised. "I'm Tom," he mumbled. Lily invited him to join her and her friends. They played games and shared stories, and for the first time since moving, Tom felt like he belonged. As days turned into weeks, their friendship grew stronger. They explored the woods together, built forts by the river, and shared secrets under starry nights. One afternoon, Tom confessed that he was struggling with his schoolwork. Lily, without hesitation, offered to help him study. They spent hours together, and with Lily's encouragement and patience, Tom began to excel. Word of their friendship spread throughout the town, inspiring others to be kinder and more inclusive. The town became a much happier place, filled with laughter and mutual support. Lily and Tom learned that true power lies not in strength or wealth, but in the bonds of friendship and the simple acts of kindness. They continued to support and uplift each other, proving that even the smallest gestures can make a world of difference. Their story became a reminder to everyone that kindness and friendship are the most valuable treasures one can possess. From that day forward, the town was known not only for its sparkling river, but also for the warmth of its people. Lily and Tom's friendship shone like a beacon, lighting the way for others to follow. Under the soft glow of the moon, in a tranquil meadow surrounded by whispering trees, there lived a special horse named Luna. Luna wasn't like the other horses in the meadow. She had a shimmering silver horn that spiraled gracefully from her forehead, glinting in the moonlight. The other animals in the meadow whispered that Luna was magical, though no one knew for certain. Luna was gentle and kind, but she often felt lonely. While the other horses played together, she would wander by the brook or beneath the starlit sky, wondering about the purpose of her unusual horn. She'd heard legends of unicorns, but no one in the meadow had ever seen another creature like her. One night, as Luna grazed near the edge of the forest, she heard a soft cry. Curious, she followed the sound into the trees. There, caught in a thicket of brambles, was a tiny fawn. Its legs trembled as it struggled to free itself. "Don't be afraid," Luna said gently, her voice soothing like the rustle of leaves. "I'll help you." Carefully, Luna used her horn to part the brambles, slicing through the sharp thorns with ease. The fawn stepped out, its big eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you," it said, its voice small but sincere. "I'm Fern. I thought I'd be stuck there forever." Luna smiled. "I'm glad I found you, Fern. Are you lost?" Fern nodded. "I can't find my mother. She's somewhere in the forest, but it's so big and dark." "Don't worry," Luna said. "We'll find her together." Guided by the glow of her horn, Luna led Fern through the forest. The soft light illuminated their path, keeping the shadows at bay. Along the way, they encountered a family of rabbits who had lost their way and a bird with a broken wing. Luna helped each of them, her kindness and magic bringing comfort to all. As dawn approached, they finally heard a familiar call. Fern's ears perked up, and he darted ahead to find his mother waiting in a clearing. The reunion was heartwarming, and Fern's mother nuzzled Luna gratefully. "You've done so much for us," she said. "Thank you, Luna. Your horn is not just beautiful, it's a gift to the world." Luna blushed, her heart swelling with a warmth she had never felt before. She realized that her horn wasn't just a strange decoration, it was meant to help others. From that day on, Luna embraced her uniqueness. She became known as the guardian of the meadow, always ready to lend her magic and kindness to those in need. The other horses no longer saw her as different. They saw her as special, a friend who brought light and hope to their lives. And so, every night under the moon's gentle glow, Luna roamed the meadow and the forest, her silver horn shining brightly, a beacon of magic and love for all who needed it. Luna loved her grandmother's old blanket. It wasn't just any blanket, it was woven with shimmering threads that seemed to hold the moonlight itself. One day, while playing in the meadow behind her house, Luna tripped and scraped her knee. Tears welled up in her eyes. She wrapped herself in the magical blanket, whispering her sadness to the soft fabric. As she did, a warm glow enveloped her, and the scrape on her knee vanished. Later that week, Luna's pet rabbit Pip got lost. Luna, distraught, hugged the blanket close. She pictured Pip, small and brown, hiding somewhere nearby. Suddenly, she felt a tug on the blanket, a gentle pull toward the old oak tree at the edge of the meadow. There, nestled beneath its roots, was Pip, safe and sound. Luna's heart soared. News of the blanket's healing and finding powers spread through her small village. People came to Luna, seeking help for their aches, pains, and lost belongings. Luna, guided by the blanket's gentle warmth, helped everyone she could. She mended a farmer's broken fence, found a lost child's favorite doll, and even soothed a grumpy old man's aching back. But as time went on, Luna noticed something odd. The blanket, once vibrant and shimmering, was becoming dull, its threads losing their glow. She realized the blanket's magic was finite, its power linked to the moonlight it held. Luna decided to use the blanket's remaining magic wisely, focusing on acts of kindness and compassion. She helped her neighbors mend their fences, literally and figuratively, fostering stronger bonds within the community. One night, under a breathtaking full moon, Luna laid the blanket on the meadow, allowing it to bathe in the moonlight. The blanket glowed softly, regaining its former brilliance. Luna understood. The blanket's magic wasn't about solving every problem. It was about spreading love and kindness. And that, she realized, was a magic that would never fade. Once upon a future, in the year 2999, the cosmos was abuzz with tales of a legendary princess whose beauty and power were said to transcend time. She lay in eternal slumber in a crystalline chamber atop the floating city of Lumina, protected by enchantments older than the stars. Her name? Princess Serafina Astra. Born during the Galactic Renaissance, Serafina was more than a royal. She was the beacon of peace in a fractured universe. But prophecy foretold that her very essence, her heart infused with cosmic energy, would one day plunge the cosmos into chaos if awakened prematurely. To prevent catastrophe, the Mystic Council cast a slumber spell on Serafina, binding her to awaken only when the stars aligned in perfect harmony. Eons passed, and civilizations rose and fell, all while the tale of the sleeping princess became myth. But deep within the archives of the Lost Orion Library, fragments of truth whispered her name. Many sought her, hoping to harness her power. However, none could break the enchantments until a lone traveler, Alaric, stumbled upon the star chart that marked her awakening. Guided by fate, he navigated perilous asteroid fields and labyrinthine cosmic storms to reach Lumina. As Alaric entered the crystalline chamber, the room pulsated with life. With the celestial alignment complete, Serafina awoke, her eyes glowing with the light of 1,000 galaxies. She smiled, not with joy, but with the weight of knowing her awakening was the harbinger of cosmic transformation. The princess's first words were cryptic. "The stars hold our fate, but the heart shapes the journey." What followed was a breathtaking adventure of love, sacrifice, and destiny, as Serafina and Alaric embarked on a mission to restore balance to the universe. Sophia and the Cloud Castle. High above the rolling hills and sparkling rivers of a quaint little town, there was a legend whispered among its people. It spoke of a magical castle that floated among the clouds, hidden from view by a veil of mist. Many dismissed it as a bedtime story, but not Sophia. Sophia was a bright, imaginative girl with a spirit of adventure and an endless curiosity. She dreamed of finding the Cloud Castle, convinced that it was real. One sunny morning, Sophia set off on an adventure. She packed her satchel with a notebook, a pencil, and her favorite compass, which had belonged to her grandfather. As she wandered through the meadows, a peculiar thing happened. A soft, silvery light shone through the clouds, and a gentle voice seemed to call her name. Sophia followed the light, climbing higher and higher into the hills. As she reached the peak of the tallest hill, she spotted something extraordinary, a spiral staircase made of mist, stretching up into the sky. With her heart racing, Sophia stepped onto the staircase. It felt cool and soft beneath her feet, yet sturdy enough to hold her weight. She climbed higher and higher, the village below growing smaller and smaller until it disappeared into the clouds. At the top of the staircase, Sophia gasped in wonder. Before her stood the Cloud Castle, its towers gleaming like pearls and its walls shimmering with hues of pink and gold. The air was filled with the scent of flowers and the sound of soft, tinkling music. As she approached the grand entrance, the massive doors opened on their own, as if welcoming her. Inside, Sophia discovered a magical world. The halls were lined with floating lanterns, and the walls seemed to change colors as she walked. She met whimsical creatures, like a talking cloud named Nimbus who guided her through the castle, and a flock of tiny, glowing birds that sang harmonies unlike anything she had ever heard. Nimbus explained that the Cloud Castle was a sanctuary of dreams, where the hopes and wishes of people from all over the world were gathered and protected. "But," he said with a frown, Something is wrong. The dream crystal which powers the castle has dimmed. Without it, the castle will fade, and the dreams it protects will be lost. Sophia felt a surge of determination. What can I do to help? She asked. Nimbus led her to the heart of the castle, where the dream crystal rested on a pedestal. It was once radiant, but now its glow was faint. Sophia noticed a dark shadow swirling within it. The crystal has been poisoned by doubt and fear, Nimbus explained. Only someone with a pure heart and a brave spirit can cleanse it. Sophia placed her hands on the crystal, closing her eyes. She thought of all the dreams she had to explore, to help others, and to make the world a better place. She filled her heart with hope and courage, letting it flow into the crystal. Slowly, the shadow dissolved, and the crystal began to shine once more, brighter than ever.
In the vast expanse of the abstract mind, a single spark ignited. It was a tiny blue sphere, pulsating with potential. Around it, geometric shapes began to drift. Sharp triangles, smooth circles, and twisting spirals. These shapes, initially chaotic, started to interact, forming patterns that pulsed with vibrant colors. The blue sphere, now growing larger, began to emit streams of light, each a nascent idea searching for form. These light streams touched the shapes, causing them to shift and transform. A red triangle morphed into a jagged mountain range, while a yellow circle expanded into a sun, casting warm light across the mental landscape. The landscapes within the mind began to take shape. Floating islands of green and purple emerged, connected by bridges of shimmering light. Strange, hybrid creatures, part animal and part geometric form, began to roam these lands. They were the embodiments of half-formed concepts, exploring their world. The blue sphere, now a radiant core, continued to propel these creations forward. As the ideas grew more complex, the environment became more intricate. The floating islands became cities of impossible architecture, built with blocks of pure color and light. The creatures interacted, their movements painting new patterns across the scene. The core of the mind, the blue sphere, pulsed with a rhythm that guided the evolution of these thoughts. It was a journey from the abstract to the concrete, a process of constant refinement and discovery. Eventually, one of the creatures, a winged figure of gold, broke free from the landscape. It carried a small, perfect shape, a tangible representation of the journey. It flew out of the abstract mind and into the world, bringing with it a new idea, now fully formed and ready to take its place in reality. The abstract mind settled back into a state of calm, ready for the next spark to ignite.
The Blue Princess. In a faraway kingdom where the sky was always bright and the rivers sparkled like diamonds, there lived a princess named Celeste. But unlike other princesses who wore golden crowns and pink dresses, Celeste was different. Their hair was the color of the ocean, and her dresses were always shades of blue. The people of the kingdom often whispered, "Why does she not dress like a proper princess?" Celeste didn't mind. She loved the color blue. It reminded her of the sky, the sea, and the feeling of freedom. But deep down, she wished the people would see her for who she truly was, not just for how she looked. One day, a great drought struck the kingdom. The rivers dried up, and the fields turned to dust. The people grew worried, and even the king and queen did not know what to do. That night, Celeste had a dream. A gentle voice whispered, "Follow the light of the moon, and you will find the answer." The next morning, she set off on a journey, riding her white horse into the hills. She followed the moon's reflection on the ground until she reached a hidden cave. Inside, she found a glowing blue crystal, pulsing with light. As she touched it, the cave trembled, and a stream of water burst from the ground, flowing down the hills and into the kingdom. The rivers filled once more, the crops grew tall, and the people rejoiced. "The Blue Princess has saved us," they cried. From that day on, no one questioned Celeste's love for blue. They realized she was special not because of how she dressed, but because of her courage, kindness, and wisdom. And so, Celeste became known as the Princess of the Sky and Sea, a ruler whose heart was as deep and endless as the color she loved.
Lily was a little girl who seemed to have stepped right out of a cartoon. Her bright red hair bounced with every step, and her eyes were as big and blue as the summer sky. She wore a polka dot dress and bright yellow boots, ready for any adventure. One sunny morning, Lily found a tiny, lost bird in her garden. The bird's wing was hurt, and it chirped sadly. Lily knew she had to help. She carefully picked up the bird and brought it inside. She made a cozy nest for the bird in a small box filled with soft cotton. Lily fed the bird tiny drops of water and crumbs of bread, talking to it in a gentle sing-song voice. The bird began to chirp happily when Lily was near. Days turned into weeks, and the bird's wing healed. Lily knew it was time to let the bird go. With a bittersweet feeling, she took the bird back to the garden. Lily opened her hands, and the bird flew up into the sky. It circled once above her head, and then flew away. Lily watched it go, a big smile on her face. She knew she had done something good. Lily then went back to her house, ready for her next adventure. She skipped towards her room, her red hair bouncing. Lily felt happy because she helped someone in need. She was a real-life cartoon hero. Lily found her crayons and drew a picture of a bird flying. She hung it on her wall, remembering the tiny bird she had helped. She knew that even small acts of kindness could make a big difference. Lily was a little girl who was always ready to spread joy, and her day was just beginning. Lily decided to go outside again and look for new friends.
High above the clouds, the magnificent cloud ship, a vessel woven from moonlight and dreams, sailed effortlessly. Captain Alara, with her silver hair and eyes like the twilight sky, steered the ship. Her crew, beings of pure light and shadow, moved with ethereal grace. Their mission: to gather the whispers of the wind, the songs of stars, and the silent secrets of the clouds. One day, a storm unlike any other erupted, threatening to shatter the cloud ship. Dark clouds, heavy with sorrow and fear, clashed against the ship's luminous hull. Elara, calm amidst the chaos, ordered her crew to use their light to soothe the storm's rage. They sang ancient melodies, their voices weaving a tapestry of hope and resilience. Slowly, the storm's fury subsided, the dark clouds parting to reveal a sky of breathtaking beauty. The cloud ship, unscathed, continued its journey, a beacon of hope in the vast expanse of the heavens. Ilara knew their mission was far from over, for the universe held countless wonders and mysteries to explore, and the cloud ship, with its crew of light and shadow, was ready to face them all. They sailed on, their journey a testament to courage, resilience, and the enduring power of hope amidst the darkest storms. The whispers of the wind carried their story, a tale to be told and retold, a beacon of hope for all who dared to dream beyond the clouds. As they journeyed onward, they encountered celestial beings, each encounter adding another layer of wonder to their voyage. They shared stories of ancient civilizations and cosmic events, enriching their understanding of the universe. The cloud ship, a symbol of unity and exploration, continued its journey, a testament to the human spirit's boundless capacity for exploration and discovery. They journeyed through nebulae of vibrant colors, each one a celestial masterpiece. They navigated asteroid fields, dodging space rocks with skill and precision. Through it all, the cloud ship remained a symbol of hope, a guiding light in the vast expanse of the cosmos. The Daughters of the Eternal Flame. In a hidden valley surrounded by towering mountains, there exists a sacred sisterhood known as the Daughters of the Eternal Flame. These warrior women are the protectors of the ancient flame of Eterna, a mystical fire that grants them unparalleled strength, wisdom, and unity. The flame is said to be the heart of the world, and its light keeps darkness at bay. For centuries, the daughters have lived in harmony, training in the arts of combat, strategy, and healing. They are led by their queen, Seraphine, a fearless and compassionate leader who embodies the ideals of the sisterhood. The daughters are not just warriors. They are scholars, artists, and guardians of nature, each contributing their unique talents to the community. One fateful day, a dark shadow begins to spread across the land. The once vibrant forests wither, the rivers run dry, and the skies grow dim. The daughters sense that the flame of Eterna is in danger. An ancient prophecy foretells that only the bravest and purest of hearts can rekindle the flame and restore balance to the world. Seraphine gathers her most trusted warriors: Lyra, the swift and agile archer; Thalia, the wise and powerful sorceress; and Nia, the fierce and loyal swordswoman. Together, they embark on a perilous journey to the heart of the darkness, where they must confront their deepest fears and face a formidable enemy who seeks to extinguish the flame forever. As they travel through treacherous terrains, the daughters encounter allies and adversaries, each testing their resolve and unity. They must rely on their individual strengths and the unbreakable bond they share to overcome the challenges ahead. Along the way, they discover that the true power of the flame lies not just in its light, but in the love and courage they hold within their hearts. In the final battle, the daughters stand together, their combined strength and determination shining brighter than ever. With Seraphine leading the charge, they face the darkness head-on, using their skills, wisdom, and the power of the flame to vanquish the enemy and restore light to the world. The daughters return to their valley as heroes, their bond stronger than ever. They continue to protect the flame of Eterna, knowing that as long as they stand united, no darkness can ever prevail. Their legend grows, inspiring future generations of warrior women to rise and protect the world with bravery, kindness, and unwavering unity. The Dwarfs' Village. In the heart of the misty mountains, where caves sparkled with hidden gems and rivers hummed secret songs, lived a group of dwarfs. They were known for their love of treasure, but there was something they loved even more: discovering new things. The youngest among them, Pip, was the most curious of all. "What lies beyond our mountain?" he often wondered. The elder dwarfs shook their heads. "The outside world is too big and dangerous," they warned. "Stay where it's safe." But Pip's curiosity only grew stronger. One day, he gathered his courage, packed some food, and set off on an adventure. As he wandered into the unknown, he saw things no dwarf had ever seen before: towering trees that touched the sky, fields of flowers that changed colors, and rivers that glowed under the moonlight. Suddenly, he heard a tiny cry. Following the sound, he found a small bird with a hurt wing. "Don't worry, little one," Pip said, gently wrapping the bird's wing with a leaf. The bird chirped gratefully and, to Pip's surprise, spoke. "Thank you, kind dwarf. Let me show you something magical in return." The bird led him to a hidden valley where golden apples grew. Pip had never seen such a treasure before. Excited, he took a few apples and hurried back to the mountains. The elder dwarfs were amazed. "These apples have healing magic," one of them exclaimed. "They will help many in need." From that day on, the dwarfs realized that curiosity wasn't dangerous, it was a gift. Thanks to Pip's brave heart, they discovered new wonders and learned that the greatest treasure wasn't gold, but knowledge. And so, the dwarfs of the Misty Mountains continued to explore, knowing that curiosity could lead to the most magical discoveries.
The city awoke each morning to find new wonders. Overnight, blank walls transformed into vibrant murals, parks bloomed with colorful sculptures, and even the gray sidewalks sparkled with intricate chalk art. No one ever saw the artist, a mysterious force that worked under the cloak of darkness. People whispered about a magical being, a spirit of creativity that floated through the city. A young girl named Lily was fascinated. She decided to stay up one night to see if she could catch a glimpse of the artist. She sat by her window, watching as the moon cast long shadows across the buildings. As the clock chimed midnight, she noticed a faint shimmer in the air. It was like a ripple of light swirling around a plain wall. Soon, colors began to appear, dancing across the surface, forming a picture of a soaring bird. Lily watched in awe as the invisible artist worked with swift, fluid motions. The colors mixed and blended, creating a breathtaking scene. When the sun began to rise, the artwork was complete, and the shimmering light faded away. Lily was left with the memory of the artist's work and a sense of wonder. The city continued to benefit from the invisible artist, with each new creation leaving people inspired. The artist's anonymity only added to the charm, highlighting the pure, selfless act of creating beauty. The city thrived on this mystery, knowing that art could come from anywhere, even from an unseen hand. Every morning as the city woke up, people would look around, eager to see what new masterpieces had appeared, a testament to the power of anonymous creativity.
The kind fairies. Deep within the enchanted forest, where the trees sparkled with golden dust and flowers glowed in the moonlight, lived a group of fairies known as the kind fairies. They were small, with shimmering wings and hearts full of magic, always ready to help those in need. The leader of the fairies, Lily, gathered her friends one morning. "Today, we shall spread kindness to those who need it most," she declared. The fairies flitted through the forest, looking for ways to help. First, they found a tiny squirrel struggling to carry a large acorn back to its nest. With a flick of her wand, the fairy Rose made the acorn lighter, and the squirrel happily carried it home. Next, they saw a mother bird searching for food for her hungry chicks. The fairy Violet waved her hands, and suddenly, the trees blossomed with juicy berries. The mother bird chirped in delight, and fed her little ones. As they flew on, they heard soft sobbing. It was a young rabbit, lost in the thick forest. The fairy Daisy gently landed beside him. "Don't worry," she said kindly. "We will help you find your way home." The fairies used their glowing dust to light a path, and soon, the rabbit was safely back with his family. That night, as the fairies returned home, they smiled, knowing they had made the forest a happier place. Lily turned to her friends. "Kindness is the greatest magic of all," she said. And so, the kind fairies continued their mission, bringing light and joy wherever they went.
Hello my friends, I am Sally. Enjoy today's story and don't forget to press the like button and follow the channel so that you receive notifications of the latest stories. Thank you my friends. I love you all. The Little Mermaid. Deep beneath the shimmering waves of the ocean lived a little mermaid named Marina. She had flowing turquoise hair, a sparkling silver tail, and eyes as bright as the morning sun. Marina loved exploring the sea, playing with dolphins, and collecting treasures from sunken ships. But more than anything, she dreamed of seeing the world above the waves. What is it like to walk on land? She often wondered. Are the stars brighter when you see them from the shore? Her father, the Sea King, shook his head. The land is not for mermaids, my dear. The ocean is your home. But Marina's curiosity only grew stronger. One day, as she swam near the surface, she saw a little boy sitting alone on a boat. He looked sad, staring at the water. Marina swam closer. "Why are you sad?" she asked. The boy gasped. "You're a mermaid." She giggled. "Yes, I am. But you didn't answer my question." The boy sighed. "I'm lost. My boat drifted away from my family's island, and I don't know how to get back." Marina's heart filled with determination. "I'll help you." Using her knowledge of the sea, she guided the boy's boat through the waves, following the gentle glow of the moon. After a long journey, they finally saw an island in the distance. "That's my home," the boy cried happily. Before he could thank her, Marina dived back into the water. She knew she had to return before sunrise. As she swam home, she realized something important. She didn't need to walk on land to be part of the human world, she had just helped someone from it. That night, as she lay in her seashell bed, Marina smiled. The ocean was her home, but her heart was big enough to embrace the whole world, both above and below the waves. And so, she continued to explore, not just for adventure, but to help those in need, proving that kindness can travel across both land and sea.
The Little Wizard. In a faraway land, where castles floated in the sky and rivers sparkled with magic, there lived a young wizard named Oliver. He was the smallest student at the Grand Academy of Magic, where wizards learned to cast powerful spells. Oliver loved magic, but there was one problem: his spells never seemed to work quite right. When he tried to turn a rock into gold, it turned into cheese instead. When he tried to summon a rainbow, it came out as a cloud of bubbles. The other students giggled. "You'll never be a real wizard, Oliver," they teased. Oliver felt sad, but he didn't give up. "I just need to practice," he told himself. One day, the kingdom fell into trouble. A fierce windstorm swept through the land, knocking over trees and blowing away rooftops. Even the great wizards struggled to stop it. "We need a powerful spell," the headmaster cried. Oliver watched as the wizards tried one spell after another, but the storm only grew stronger. Then Oliver had an idea. He remembered a spell he had read about in an old bookone that could calm the wind, but it required a gentle touch. Taking a deep breath, Oliver waved his wand. "Soft as a feather, light as the breeze, bring gentle air and make the storm freeze." A soft glow surrounded him, and suddenly, the storm slowed. The fierce winds turned into a gentle breeze, and soon, the skies were calm again. The headmaster and the other wizards stared in amazement. "Oliver, that was incredible!" Oliver beamed. His magic wasn't about being the biggest or the strongest, it was about using his heart and creativity. From that day on, Oliver became known as the little wizard with the biggest magic. And he proved that even the smallest wizards could do great things.
The old play kitchen stood in the corner, a simple wooden frame with plastic knobs and a small sink. It was meant for little hands, perfect for kids around 3 to 6 years old, a magical place where imagination could run wild. Lily looked at it, not just as a toy, but as a canvas waiting for her touch. Her goal was to transform it into a culinary wonderland, a space where little chefs could dream big. The first task was to make it more functional without breaking the bank. With some chalkboard paint, she turned one side into a place to write menus or draw kitchen scenes. Next, she added a magnetic strip to hold little spice containers, each filled with colorful pretend spices. A small, battery-operated faucet was added to the sink, allowing for even more realistic play. Each upgrade was simple yet added so much to the kitchen's playability. Little hands started to explore, turning knobs, writing on the chalkboard, and organizing pretend spices. The kitchen became a hive of activity as kids cooked up imaginary feasts and hosted tea parties. A little girl named Mia flipped pretend pancakes on the stove, while a little boy named Tom pretended to wash dishes, their creativity blossoming with every action. The upgrades had unlocked a whole new level of play. Lily wanted to make the kitchen even better. She added a small, personalized nameplate to the front, creating a sense of ownership. She also hung a small chalkboard menu board, where kids could write down their daily specials. She imagined other themes: a pizza place, a bakery, or an ice cream shop. All possible, with a few simple changes. The kitchen was more than a toy now. It was a place where dreams were cooked up and shared, a space that sparked their imagination and made every playtime an adventure. The children continued to play, their laughter echoing in the room, each new day bringing a new culinary adventure.
Alara found a peculiar pillow in her grandmother's attic. It was embroidered with shimmering threads and smelled faintly of lavender and stardust. That night, she whispered her heart's desires into the pillow: a pet unicorn, a flight to the moon, and a lifetime supply of chocolate. She drifted to sleep, the pillow cradling her head. When she awoke, a small, fluffy white creature with a spiraling horn nuzzled her hand. It wasn't exactly a unicorn, more like a miniature, incredibly cute version. Then, a tiny hand-painted rocket ship appeared on her bedside table, complete with a miniature astronaut. Finally, a single, perfectly wrapped chocolate bar sat beside it. Alara laughed, realizing the pillow granted wishes, but with a whimsical, scaled-down twist. She decided to wish for a day of adventure, and suddenly, her room transformed into a miniature jungle gym with climbing ropes and slides. She spent the day exploring her transformed space, her laughter echoing through the miniature landscape. The next night, she wished for the ability to paint like the masters. she awoke to find a small paint-by-numbers kit featuring a famous Van Gogh sunflower. Although it wasn't exactly the skill she'd hoped for, she found joy in creating her own version of the masterpiece. As the days passed, Elara learned that the pillow's magic wasn't about grand wishes fulfilled, but about finding joy in the unexpected miniature versions of her dreams. Each day brought a new, surprising adventure, always slightly askew, always perfectly delightful. She learned to appreciate the small wonders, the charm of the imperfect, and the unexpected beauty of scaled-down dreams. It was a lesson that far outweighed the magic of a perfect wish-granting pillow. The pillow, with its unique magic, taught her to appreciate the journey and the joy of the little things, more than the fulfillment of the grand visions. As time passed and she grew older, her wishes changed. She wished for wisdom, for courage, and for kindness. The pillow responded in its own unique way, not with tangible gifts, but with life experiences that shaped her character and made her a better person. The pillow became more than just an object. It became a symbol of her journey, a reminder of her childhood dreams and the lessons she learned along the way. The once magical pillow became a cherished keepsake, a reminder that even miniature dreams can hold immense joy and that the most valuable gifts are often unexpected.
Elara discovered her strange ability one rainy afternoon. A spilled cup of tea on her favorite book prompted a surge of frustration, and suddenly, the tea flew back into the cup. Confused, she experimented, rewinding the moment when her cat knocked over a vase. Each rewind was like a smooth, seamless animation, the world flowing backwards around her. Elara started using her ability for small conveniences, fixing minor mistakes, and avoiding awkward encounters. But she grew bolder, deciding to use her power to change larger events. She rewound a day when her friend had a terrible argument, changing the conversation to a better one. But the next day, things were different. Not better, just different. The change had created a ripple, altering other relationships and events. She tried to fix those changes, rewinding and tweaking, but each adjustment led to new unexpected consequences. Elara realized that her ability, while powerful, was not a solution to the complexities of life. She learned that every choice, every moment, no matter how small, creates the fabric of reality. She decided to stop rewinding. Instead, she started to accept the flow of time, focusing on making the most of each moment as it came. Life is not a script that can be rewritten, she understood, but a story to be lived fully, with all its imperfections.
The Shield of Aeterna. In the heart of the ancient world, hidden beyond the mist-shrouded peaks of Mount Aeterna, lay the city of Themyscira, home to the legendary warrior women known as the Daughters of Aeterna. These women were no ordinary warriors. They were the chosen guardians of the Shield of Aeterna, a divine artifact said to protect the world from chaos. The shield was not a physical object, but a symbol of their unity, forged by the goddess Aeterna herself. Each daughter carried a piece of its power within her, and together they were invincible. Their queen, Artemisia, was a paragon of strength and wisdom. She had led her people through countless battles, always ensuring that their actions were guided by justice and compassion. But one day, a dark force began to spread across the land. Crops withered, rivers turned to ash, and shadows crept into the hearts of even the bravest warriors. Artemisia knew that the shield's power was waning, and without it, the world would fall into eternal darkness. Artemisia called upon her most trusted warriors, Lyra, the swift and cunning archer, Thalia, the wise and powerful sorceress, and Nia, the indomitable swordswoman. Together, they embarked on a quest to the Temple of Aeterna, a sacred place hidden deep within the Forbidden Forest. The temple was said to hold the key to restoring the shield's power, but it was guarded by trials that tested the heart, mind, and spirit of those who dared to enter. The first trial was the Forest of Whispers, where the trees spoke in riddles and illusions clouded their vision. Lyra's sharp instincts guided them through, as she deciphered the riddles and led her sisters to safety. The second trial was the Cavern of Echoes, where their deepest fears manifested. Thalia's wisdom and calming presence helped them confront their fears and emerge stronger. The final trial was the Bridge of Flames, a narrow path suspended over a chasm of fire. Nia's unwavering courage inspired them to cross, even as the flames threatened to consume them. At the temple, they found the heart of Aeterna, a glowing crystal that pulsed with divine energy. Artemisia placed her hand on the crystal, and the shield's power surged through her, rekindling its light. The darkness retreated, and the land began to heal. The daughters returned to Themyscira as heroes, their bond stronger than ever. They knew that as long as they stood together, no force could ever break their unity or extinguish the light of the shield. Once upon a time, high above the earth, lived a little star named Twinkle. Unlike the other stars who shone brightly all night, Twinkle was always sleepy. He'd yawn and blink, his light dimming as the other stars blazed. The other stars teased him, calling him sleepyhead and dozy. Twinkle felt shod. He wished he could stay awake, but his eyelids grew heavy, no matter how hard he tried. One night, a wise old comet zipped past. Seeing Twinkle's sadness, the comet asked, "Why the long face, little star?" Twinkle confessed his sleepiness. The comet chuckled. "Every star has its own rhythm, Twinkle. Your gentle dimming is just as beautiful as the other's bright shine." The comet explained that Twinkle's soft light was perfect for guiding lost fireflies home. The fireflies loved Twinkle's gentle glow. It was calming and soft, perfect for their night flights. Twinkle felt a warmth spread through him. He wasn't a failure, he was special. He discovered his unique purpose. From that night on, Twinkle still felt sleepy, but he shone his soft light with pride, knowing he was helping the fireflies. The other stars, witnessing Twinkle's newfound confidence, stopped teasing. They understood that every star, no matter how bright or dim, has a special role to play. Twinkle, the sleepy little star, became a symbol of gentle guidance and quiet strength, proving that even in sleepiness, there's beauty and purpose. He learned that being different wasn't bad, it was what made him unique and valuable. He continued his gentle blinking, a comforting beacon for the fireflies below, a testament to the power of self-acceptance and finding one's purpose, however small it may seem. The song of the starborn far beyond the reach of mortal maps, on an island bathed in eternal moonlight, lived the starborn sisters. These warrior women were said to be born from the stars themselves, their strength and grace unmatched by any mortal. They were the guardians of the celestial harp, an ancient instrument whose music could heal wounds, calm storms, and even mend broken hearts. The harp's song was the heartbeat of the world, and the starborn sisters were its protectors. Their leader, Selene, was a warrior poet, her voice as powerful as her sword. She had trained her sisters not only in combat, but also in the arts of music and storytelling, for they believed that true strength came from both body and soul. But one night, the stars began to fade, and the harp's song grew faint. Selene knew that a great evil was at work, one that sought to silence the harp forever. Selene gathered her most loyal sisters, Astra, the fierce and agile huntress, Luna, the intuitive and empathetic healer, and Orion, the strategic and fearless tactician. Together, they set sail for the Isle of Shadows, a cursed land where the darkness was said to originate. The journey was perilous, with storms raging and sea monsters lurking beneath the waves. But the starborn sisters were undeterred, their resolve as unyielding as the stars themselves. On the Isle of Shadows, they faced the Void Wraith, a creature born of pure darkness. It sought to consume the light of the stars and silence the harp forever. The sisters fought valiantly, but the Wraith's power was immense. Just as all seemed lost, Selene remembered the words of an ancient prophecy. Only the harmony of heart and blade can defeat the darkness. She called upon her sisters to join their voices and weapons in unison. Astra's arrows flew true, Luna's healing magic shielded them, and Orion's strategy turned the tide of battle. Selene raised her sword and sang the Song of the Starborn, a melody so pure and powerful that it pierced the Wraith's darkness. The creature shrieked and dissolved into nothingness, and the stars above began to shine once more. The harp's song returned, filling the world with light and hope. The Tale of Prince Kale, the adventurous prince of Lumora. Once upon a time, in the radiant kingdom of Lumora, where the skies shimmered with hues of gold and lavender, there lived a bold and adventurous prince named Kale. The youngest of 3 siblings, Kale had a heart that craved the thrill of exploration and the mystery of the unknown. While his elder brothers were content with courtly duties, Kale spent his days mapping the uncharted corners of the magical realm. The kingdom of Lumora was no ordinary land. It was brimming with enchanted forests, floating islands, and hidden portals that led to otherworldly dimensions. Legends whispered of ancient relics and powerful artifacts that lay buried within these mystical places. While most feared the dangers that lurked in the shadows, Kale saw them as challenges waiting to be conquered. The call to adventure. One fateful morning, as the sun rose over the gleaming crystal spire, Kale received a mysterious message delivered by a talking hawk named Zephyr. The bird spoke of a lost artifact known as the Eterna Gem, said to grant its wielder the power to protect the kingdom from any evil. However, the gem was hidden deep within the Evermaze Woods, a place where time twisted, paths shifted, and no one had ever returned from. Without hesitation, Kale packed his satchel with essentials: a map enchanted to reveal hidden trails, a sword imbued with light magic, and a locket bearing his late mother's portrait, for courage. Zephyr agreed to guide him, and together they set off at dawn. Trials in the Evermaze Woods. As Kale entered the Evermaze Woods, he immediately felt the magic at play. Trees whispered secrets, vines shifted to block paths, and shadows danced like specters. The first challenge came in the form of a mischievous forest spirit named Lyric, who guarded the entrance to the deeper woods. Lyric appeared as a shimmering figure with fox-like features and demanded a riddle to proceed. "I am not alive, yet I grow. I have no lungs, yet I need air. What am I?" Kale pondered for a moment before confidently replying, "Fire." Impressed by his wit, Lyric granted him passage but warned of greater trials ahead. The Guardian of Shadows. Deeper into the woods, Kale encountered the Guardian of Shadows, a colossal panther, with eyes that glowed like molten gold. The Guardian tested Kale's bravery, creating illusions of his worst fears: losing his family, failing his kingdom, and being lost forever. Drawing strength from the locket around his neck, Kale faced each illusion with unwavering determination. "My fears do not define me," he declared, and the illusions shattered. The panther, acknowledging his courage, allowed him to pass and whispered the final riddle: "Only with a pure heart will the Eterna Gem reveal itself."
Alara lived in the city of Aquamarina, nestled within a giant teardrop. The city sparkled with tiny lights, reflecting off the curved surface of their world. Every day, the residents of Aquamarina tended to their luminous gardens and navigated the crystal waterways. One day, a tremor shook the teardrop, causing panic among the tiny inhabitants. A young explorer named Orion decided to investigate the source of the disturbance. He journeyed to the edge of their world, where the teardrop met the vast unknown. He discovered that a gentle giant was crying, their tears the lifeblood of his world. Understanding that their existence depended on this giant's sorrow, Orion returned to Aquamarina with a heavy heart. The city began to hum with a new understanding. They were a small world, precious and fragile, living within another's emotion. They resolved to cherish every moment, every drop of light and water, knowing their existence was fleeting and magical. They continued their lives, singing songs of gratitude for their unique world inside the tear.
Timmy and the time-traveling tortoise. Timmy was an ordinary boy who lived in an extraordinary town. The town of Whimsy Hollow was full of peculiar things: trees that glowed at night, rivers that hummed soft tunes, and a clock tower that always ran backward. But the most peculiar thing of all was Mr. Tuttle's tortoise. Mr. Tuttle was the town's eccentric inventor, known for creating odd contraptions that didn't always work as planned. His tortoise, Sheldon, was no ordinary pet. Sheldon had a mysterious gleam in his eyes, and a shell engraved with strange, glowing symbols. Rumor had it that Sheldon could travel through time, but no one truly believed it except Timmy. Timmy often visited Mr. Tuttle's workshop, marveling at the gadgets and gizmos. One day, while Timmy was admiring a pair of self-stirring teacups, Mr. Tuttle called him over. "Timmy," he said, "I've been working on something special, and I think you're the perfect person to test it." "What is it?" Timmy asked eagerly. Mr. Tuttle gestured to Sheldon, who was munching on a piece of lettuce. "Sheldon here isn't just a tortoise, he's a time machine. And he's ready to take you on an adventure." Timmy's eyes widened. "A time machine? Really?" Mr. Tuttle nodded. "Climb aboard and hold on tight. Sheldon knows the way." With a mix of excitement and nerves, Timmy carefully climbed onto Sheldon's shell. The glowing symbols began to pulse, and a soft humming sound filled the air. Suddenly, there was a flash of light, and the world around Timmy blurred and twisted. When the light faded, Timmy found himself in a bustling medieval village. Knights in shining armor paraded through the streets, and merchants shouted about their wares. "This is incredible!" Timmy exclaimed. Sheldon nudged Timmy toward a group of children playing with a wooden hoop. Timmy joined them, learning their games and sharing stories about his own time. But before long, Sheldon's shell began to glow again, signaling it was time to leave. Their next stop was an ancient jungle, where Timmy saw dinosaurs roaming freely. He watched in awe as a massive brontosaurus lumbered past. Sheldon's calm demeanor reassured Timmy, even when a curious velociraptor came a little too close for comfort. Sheldon then took Timmy to the far future, where skyscrapers touched the clouds and robots zipped around on hoverboards. Timmy made friends with a group of children who showed him how to ride a hoverboard and shared stories about their advanced gadgets. "How was it?" Mr. Tuttle asked, his eyes twinkling. "Amazing," Timmy said. "I saw knights, dinosaurs, and even the future. Sheldon is incredible." Mr. Tuttle smiled. "I'm glad you enjoyed it. Sheldon has a way of showing us that time is full of wonders." From that day on, Timmy couldn't stop talking about his. In the heart of a vibrant forest lived a tiny fairy named Lila, known for her bright, rainbow-colored wings. She was the keeper of the forest's hidden rainbow, a magical arc that only appeared after a special rain. One day, the forest became dull and gray, with no rain in sight. The animals were sad, and the flowers drooped. Lila knew she had to do something. She remembered an old story about a hidden crystal that could bring rain. With a determined heart, she set off on a quest, her rainbow wings shimmering in the dim light. She flew over tall trees and past silent streams, finally finding the crystal inside a hollow oak. As she touched it, a soft melody filled the air, and the sky began to cloud over. Gentle rain fell, washing away the gray and bringing back the colors of the forest. The rainbow appeared, brighter than ever, stretching across the sky. Lila smiled, knowing she had saved her home. The animals cheered, and the flowers danced in the rain. Lila continued to watch over the forest, her wings a reminder of the magic she held. Every time the rainbow appeared, it was a celebration of her bravery and the secret she protected. She knew that even the smallest fairy could make a big difference. Her tiny wings carried the hopes of the forest, always ready to bring color and joy. The forest was once again a place of wonder, thanks to Lila. She was the secret guardian of the rainbow, a tiny hero with a big heart. The animals were grateful for her courage. Lila continued her watch over the forest, always ready to help. She was the heart of the forest, and the forest was her home. Her story was a reminder of the magic that exists in the world. She was small, but she was strong, and she was the keeper of the rainbow.